Shalom, shalom, mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. Today, I'm going to be talking about creating monsters. No, I'm not talking about the Jewish mysticism where you create golem or anything like that, but creating monsters. How one culture can create a monster out of another culture. I'm living currently up here in New Brunswick, Canada. Live very close to a native reserve, and but yet I don't live on the reserve. I live, near a town with a bunch of white people, and there's a prejudice going on, where it's the whites against the natives against the whites, and the whites against the French against the English, and the Catholics against the Protestants, and yada 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 yada. But I have some good friends who are natives, and I myself am a Native American. I call myself a Judaic because I'm a Jewish Cherokee. But what I hate is when I hear white people, who warn me, well, you better be careful about those Indians. They'll rob you blind. They're just nothing but a bunch of drunks and thieves, and they'll try to kill you. Ludicrous. Stupid, ludicrous. And I say, hold on a second there. Okay, you said that they're nothing but a bunch of drunks. Did you know that there was no such thing as alcohol in the native society and culture until you, the white man, came along and introduced it? And then I say, okay, you call them a bunch of thieves. Who is the one who stole their land and forced them to starve? And, the hunger produced that desire to have to steal to be able to provide for their family and to stay alive. So who created the thieves? I'm sorry, but you white people have created your own monster. So don't be calling these natives a bunch of drunks and thieves, when basically it's partially your fault. Now, to be fair, the native, we have to take responsibility for our actions. There's a lot of native youth out there who are being destructive. They're aimless, have no focus, no goals. They've forgotten the teachings of the elders. Some of them haven't even been taught, and they're angry and they're bitter because they've been targeted by white kids at school, and there's prejudice and there's fights all the time. So they go around their own reserve and tearing up stuff, and they have nothing better to do. And I say, hold on a second. I tell them, I said, wait, these white people are saying that you're nothing but a bunch of savages, and you go around destroying and burning your own stuff, and then you come on your own reserve and do those very things to prove what they're saying is right. For once, why don't you stand up for yourself, stand up for your heritage, stand up for your people, and shut those white people up and prove them wrong? Take responsibility for your actions and don't do those things, and prove to them that you're not like that. The decision's up to you. The choice is up to you. So, on the one hand, the white people have a responsibility to not jump to the conclusions and to prejudge and to judge foolishly without even researching or knowing their own history. And the natives need to take responsibility for their actions and not blame other people for the way they are, but to say, hey, we're going to take responsibility for our actions, and we're going to do and be what the Creator has called us to do and be, despite our land being taken away, despite us being put on reserve, despite all the prejudice against us. We're going to prove them wrong. And so one of my prayers daily is that there would just be this reconciliation between the white man and the red man. And the white man and the red man will agree and claim, hey, the white men are our brothers. We don't get along, but they're our brothers. We all come from the same Creator. And there's many native prophecies out there that are talking about, towards the end of time, or the end of time as we know it, that there will be a reconciliation. And I believe slowly that's taken place. There's some intermarriage going on between the whites and the natives. There's a lot of reconciliation groups and conferences and things that are happening that are bringing them together. There's a big hunger and thirst within the white communities to understand and to know the native ways, because they see that there's something in it that they're lacking in their own life. The whole thing about being in harmony and one with the Creator and with everything He's created, living in harmony and balance with those things. So, just be careful. When you see somebody that's of another religion, another race, another culture, before you jump to conclusions and paint them all one color and put them all in one basket and paint them with one broad stroke, do your research, do your studies, know what's going on before you foolishly open your mouth and reveal what kind of fool you really are. That's just like lumping all the Muslims in one basket and saying, oh, they're nothing but a bunch of terrorists. Well, you know what? I personally haven't met a terrorist yet. Maybe that I know of. I, know that there's sleeper cells, etc. But every Muslim that I've come in contact with, especially the Kurdish people who Saddam Hussein tried to kill by genocide, they're some of the most lovely, hospitable people that you would ever want to meet. They would give you the shirt off their back, invite you into their homes, and they love talking religion. They love talking faith. They don't care if you're Christian or if you're Jew. They love talking about these things, and there can be a friendship. So, don't go saying that all Muslims are extremists and all Muslims want to take over the world, because that's not true. That's not the case. There's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me. So what? I don't care. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking from what I've studied, what I've experienced, what I know. I don't care what race, color, creed, or religion you are. There's good and bad in every group. And it is our responsibility, it behooves us to seek out the good. And whatever bad we see in other people is really bad we see in ourselves. It's the whole parable Yeshua was talking about the plank being in your own eye, and you're complaining about the speck or the splinter in your brother's eye. So, Abba Father, just bring us all into unity, walking in the footsteps of Yeshua our Messiah by walking and following the Torah. B'Shem Yeshua Mosheinu, amen. Shalom and Shavua Tov Mishpocha.